hopefully my
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom. It's amazing to just be Shabbat.
It's just Shabbat. I know the past few Shabbatot have been Shabbat and
Really,
Yom Tov.
is there Yom Tov? Is there? No, it's just Shabbat.
Shabbat. So nice. So let's welcome the Sabbath bride as we sing Lecha Dodi on page 138. When we get to the very last verse, we'll stand and face the back of our tent as we welcome in the Sabbath bride.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad hishmiyanu el hamiuchad Adonai echad u'shmo echad l'shemo tiferet l'tehila lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki mekor haviracha merosh mikedem nesucha sof maase b'machshavat tefila lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela Mikdash melech ir melucha kumitzei mitoch afecha rav lach shevet ve'amek habacha hu yachamo alaychem la lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela.
Verse 5.
Hitoreri kiva orech kumi ori shir daveri kavod Adonai alayich nigla lecha dodi
Please rise, we face the back.
b'nei Shabbat nekabela Boi v'shalom teret bala gam b'simcha u'tala toch emunei am segula boi chala lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela.
Don't sit down. I mean, you can if you need to sit, but we'll remain standing for Chatzi Kaddish on page 263.
Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabba V'almad yivrachute v'yamlich malchute V'chayechon v'yomechon V'chayed echol beit Yisrael Bagala Uvizman karid V'yimeru Amen Yesh merabba mevara Ve'almula me'almaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh V'yitadar v'yitale v'yitala Shemei Kudusha Baruchu Leila min kol birchata v'shirata Tushbechata v'nechemata Damiram ve'alma ve'imeru Amen Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach.
Baruch Adonai leolam vaed.
Baruch Adonai Baruch leolam vaed.
May be seated. So we turn to page 265 for Ma'ariv Aravim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro Ma'ariv Aravim, b'chochma poteach she'arim, ובתבונה משנה עיתים, ומחליף את הזמנים, ומסדר את הכוכבים במשמרותיהם ברקיע כרצונו. בורא יום ולילה, גולל אור מפני חושך, וחושך מפני אור. ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו. אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. Baruch atah Adonai Ha'ma'ariv Aravim.
Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael hamchavta, Torah mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim otanu limadeta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu v'shokbeinu uvkumeinu nasiach b'chokecha v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha u'b'mitzvotecha le'olam le'olam va'ed. Ki hem chayinu ve'orech yameinu u'vahem negei yomam v'layla. Ve'avatecha al tasir mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. Ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha. Ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha. Ve'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam. V'shivtecha b'veitecha u'v'lechtecha b'derech u'v'shochbecha u'v'kumecha u'kshartam leot al yadecha ve'hayu letotafot bein einecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'v'hisharecha. Leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kedoshim le'Elohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem. Amen.
We continue now with our song Michamocha, the song of redemption our ancestors sang at the sea. We'll join together page 270.
Michamocha be'elim Adonai, Michamocha nedar b'kodesh, Nora tehilot osefele, Nora tehilot osefele, Malchutecha ra'u banecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam ze'elianu ve'amru Adonai imlo Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. V'ne'emar kifad Adonai et Yaakov u'galo miyad chazak mimenu. Baruch atah Adonai Ga'al Yisrael.
271.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom. V'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Amen. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom. V'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Amen.
I have a trivia question for everyone. Actually, I don't know if it's trivia because I'm not sure there's a right answer, but I'll put it out there. What do you think is the most Jewish number?
7.
7, okay, good.
18.
18. 18 because of Chai, of course, right? We like to give tzedakah in multiples of 18 for life. What else? What? 36, because 36 is a multiple of 18, right? So that connects with that Chai number. We'll come back to 7 in a minute. Doug, you gave away my answer right away, but thank you. 613, very good, Keith. 613 of mitzvot and Torah. Right, you can see 4. There's a lot of 4, like in the Seder, right? The 4 questions, the 4 children, etc. But 7 is a really, really Jewish number, and a lot of the reason behind 7 comes from this week's parasha. This week we're reading Breshit. We're starting from the very beginning, and of course, there we have the whole beautiful narrative of creation and Shabbat, that on the 7th day God rested, and therefore we rest and have Shabbat. But it's not only about Shabbat that we have the number 7. We also have it, for example, I brought someone to the mikveh today, and every mikveh in the world has 7 steps leading down into it. The tradition of 7 times circling at a Jewish wedding. So lots of times 7, but it all actually kind of goes back to the idea from Shabbat that Shabbat and 7 is a symbol of wholeness, of completion. And I think it's a beautiful way of understanding Shabbat when we think about kind of how those metaphors tie together, that Shabbat is a taste of wholeness. Even when there's brokenness in the world, even when things are a little chaotic around us, we get this time every 7 days to just be and experience the world in its wholeness and its fullness, and that's a beautiful gift that we have. So let's sing Vishamru as we recognize Shabbat. It's page 272.
Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, ביני ובין בני ישראל, ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ים בדם במבאי, שבת שבת, ים בדם במבאי, Shabbat, Shabbat, yam bada bam bam bye. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz ubayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafat. Yam bada bam bam bye. Shabbat, Shabbat, yam bada bam bam bye. Shabbat, Shabbat, yam bada bam bam bye. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shabbat.
together now for the Amidah. Just a reminder, we started last Shabbat Shmini Atzeret to switch to the winter prayers, as we pray for rain. Page 274.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim v'Konei Hakol, v'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, Umevi Geulah livnei bneihem, Leman Shemo be'ahava, Melech Ozer Moshiach Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Bezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Leolam Adonai, Mechayim Eitim atah Rav leHoshia, Mashiv HaRuach Morid HaGashem, Mechalkel Chayim Bechesed, Mechayim Eitim Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Berofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar, Michamo Chaval Gevurot, Umido Melach, Melech Memid Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman hatala hachayot meitim, Baruch atah Adonai, mechayeh hameitim.
Page 276.
Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kdoshim b'chol yom yalalucha salha, Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el ha'kadosh.
You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
Amen.
You may be seated. So we join together on the bottom of 277.
Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Ritzei v'Menuchatenu, Kadshenu b'mitzvotecha, V'ten chelkeinu b'toratecha, Sabeinu mituvecha, V'samcheinu b'shuatecha, V'taher libeinu, V'taher libeinu, V'taher libeinu le'avdecha be'emet, V'taher libeinu, V'taher libeinu, V'taher libeinu le'avdecha be'emet. V'anchilenu Adonai Eloheinu, Be'ahava u'ratzon Shabbat kodshecha, Ve'anuchu ba'Yisrael, Mekadshei Shmecha, Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Let's sing together Ritzei on the top of 279.
Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu, Be'amcha Yisrael, U'tefilatam be'ahava tekabel, U'tehila ratzon tamid avodat Yisrael. Yisrael Amecha, El Karov Lecho, Korov Penei, El Avodecha Vechoneinu, Shepoch Ruchacha, Aleinu, V'techazen Eineinu, בשובך ברחמים. ברוך אתה שכינתו לציון, לציון,
To read with me in the English on the top of 281 these words of gratitude. For the good in us which calls us to a better life, we give thanks. For the strength to improve the world with our hearts and our hands, we offer praise. For the desire in us which leads us to work for peace, we are grateful. For life and nature, harmony and beauty, for the hope of tomorrow, all praise to the source of being.
Kulam, kulam, Yitbarach v'yitromam, Yitbarach v'yitromam, Shimcha Malkeinu, Tamid le'olam va'ed, ve'al kulam, ve'al kulam, Yitbarach v'yitromam, Yitbarach v'yitromam, Shimcha Malkeinu, Tamid le'olam va'ed. V'chol hachem yoducha salah, v'hallelu et shimcha be'emet, ha'el Yeshuateinu ve'ezrateinu salah, Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha, hatov shimcha, ulecha, ulecha na'eh le'odot.
Pray for shalom, for wholeness and peace in our world, page 282.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lecho hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lecho hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim leolam. V'tov b'necha levarech et Amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. ברוך אתה אדוני המברך את עמו ישראל בשלום.
Take a moment now for silent prayer.
והגיון ליבי לפניך אדוני צורי אדוני Suri Begoali
I'll invite you, if you will, to turn ahead to page 371 so that we can offer a Mishaberach, a prayer of healing for those in our congregation and the extended community beyond who are in need of healing. Shabbat 371, yes, the middle of that page. There are a number of people in our Mishaberach list, so many people we are holding in our prayers. We think this Shabbat of Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sachs, Ellen Becker, Davina Muchnick Golden, Maylor Valance, Tobin Robbins, Judy Sipe, Elliot Pohl, Sanford Cohen, Schneer Zalman Ben Meir Leib, Jean Angus, Shane N., Roger Seelig, Sarah Chachi, Helen Heacock Rivers, Mary Coheen, Bella Sherman, Kim Bennett, Yochana Bat Gershom Yosefa, Sarah Bat Avraham Basara, Igor Ilyasov, Ed Ozer, David Shlomo Gorney, Denise Huguet, Ronnie Goldberg, Andrea Jarjbiak, Ari Schwartz, Maureen Newman, Neil Tapley, and Yana Timko. Other names to mention, I invite you to share them aloud at this time.
Mishaberach Avoteinu Mekor HaBracha Ne'ing, who bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishaberach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Amen, and Shabbat Shalom again, everyone. I want to just share a few announcements before my drush. First of all, I want to extend a warm welcome to Ira, who's here. Ira, we're so glad that you're here. I think most of you know Marion is here. Ariel does behind the scenes for us, so we're thrilled that you're here and looking forward to getting to know you more, Ira. I want to share just a few things that are coming up. First of all, our outdoor Friday night Shabbat services like these, we're going to just continue them through October, so just 2 more weeks after this Shabbat. So if I'm talking to all of you here and all of you at home online, if you want to join us in person, you've got a few more chances for services. You just have to bundle up, and then it's quite nice, and it's great to be together. So these 6 o'clock services, plus you can bring your own dinner for after. Following that, once we get into November, we'll be going back to the 8:15 time for the Friday night services, streaming online for the usual different platforms. You hopefully have seen we have a lot of adult education offerings that we've just announced. We're really excited. One in particular that I want to call attention to because it starts soon. We're going to be doing a film series, film and discussion, because we'll invite everyone to watch a film on their own. A conversation on the topic of that film will be The Social Dilemma. It's on, I'm excited to watch it. So that will be next Saturday night. There are 3 other films that will be happening over the course of the series. Other things happening as well. I'll be starting a Intro to Talmud course in November, and there's a lot of other offerings as well. Sacred Aging is beginning again as well. I think that's all for now. So, I would like to just share a brief word of Torah about our parasha. Incredibly, here we are, back again at the beginning. It's bound to happen every year, but it's always exciting when it does. And I think part of the excitement is that it becomes so familiar again, right? We kind of went through these months and months of, the laws of Vayikra, of Leviticus, and, a lot of the legal aspects of Torah, which are interesting, but maybe not as interesting as the stories and the narratives. And we come back to Bereshit this week, and here we have right away a beautiful story of creation that I mentioned, and also, the story of Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve is such a fundamental part of the beginnings of Torah, and some of the ways we think even about the beginnings of humanity, the myths of how human beings came into being. And often, when we hear about the story of Adam and Eve in secular society, just generally out there in the ethos, who gets the blame? Eve. She always gets the blame, right? She was the one who took the fruit. She was the one who did it. She made Adam do it. It's her fault. Now, it's interesting in Torah, I would say that it's not just Eve who gets the blame. It's Eve, it's Adam, and it's the serpent. All three of them get the blame, and all three of them get a punishment. And it's the punishment I want to focus on tonight. In particular, I want to focus on Eve's punishment. So even though I'm not putting all the blame on her, I think that her punishment actually has an interesting lesson to teach us all. So Eve's punishment for her eating of the fruit of the tree of knowledge is, does anyone know? Pain in childbirth. Pain in childbirth, and for not just for Eve, but for all mothers to come. Thanks a lot, Eve.
Thanks a lot.
So, but what's interesting is that the Hebrew, the text in Torah, where God tells Eve that this is what will happen to her, it's kind of written actually as kind of a poem, and this phrase comes up, "Be'etzev tel divanim," which usually is translated as "in pain shall you bear children." But that word etzev actually means not pain, but sadness, like atzuv. It's sadness, sad in Hebrew. Now, there's no doubt that childbirth can be physically painful. I know. But I think, but Mariel's left in this part, okay. But I think that there is something very, very profound in the Torah's use of that word etzev, sadness. So many mothers experience postpartum depression. And that's something that actually I can say personally that I struggled with after the birth of my first child. And in the years that have passed since my daughter was an infant, I have learned that so many of my friends, family members, congregants have also struggled with the same thing. But in the midst of it, I have to say, I felt profoundly alone. And it did feel like something of a curse. But I've come to learn that the challenges that we experience in life as curses, whether it is the difficulty of coping with a newborn baby, mental health challenges, physical challenges, job challenges, financial, whatever it is, are often shielded in the quiet hush of stigma. But when we recognize our shared experience and we reach out to those who need a hand, or we ourselves made as an es. I think that the creation of Eve, just Eve herself, her character, what she teaches us, reminds us that nobody can do it on their opportunity in doing so, to turn those curses into blessings. Shabbat Shalom. Our siddurim to page 586, and rise together for Alleluia.
Alleluia, l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'tikra bereshit, shelo asanu k'gayei haratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo samchelkenu kahem, v'goralenu k'chohamonam, v'anachnu korim, u'mitachavim u'im, Baruchu Shehunot Shamayim V'Yosei Haaretz Moshe Yekara B'Shamayim Imaha Ushchinatu Zo Begove Meromim Hu Eloheinu Einod Emet Malkeinu Efesulato Kakatu Betorato Ve'adatayom V'Shevota Elevavecha Ki Adonai Hu Elohim B'Shamayim Imaha Einod V'Nemar Adonai Lemelech Haaretz Bayom Hahu Yihye Adonai Echad U'Shemo Echad.
May be seated. It's from this parsha, Vayehi Or, let there be light. We're going to turn now to a reading before the Mourner's Kaddish on page 595. There are stars above, so far away we only see their light, long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these names of those whom we remember for Kaddish, for Shabbat. I invite you, if you are here to remember a loved one, to rise as I read the name of your loved one's name out loud here or at home. We are in a period of Shloshim for Florence Baton, Helen Glazer, Shirley Cantor, Colleen Price, Michael Price, and Rabbi Sidney Shankin. And we mark yahrzeit this week of Carrie Aaron Allison, Sylvia Angel, Catherine Anthony, Dora Arbor, Maurice Oscar Arcus, Fanny Atnikov, Don Atnikov, Ken Berry, Vega Butts, Nemo Chordiker, Richard Chiachi, Louis Cohen, Thomas Everall, Jackie Ferreira, Miriam Gelman, Ralph Gertzman, Ilya Gilovich, Alan Glazerman, Zora Zoe Elka Groper, Elizabeth Hale, Frida Henry, Yuri Yarkin, Eva Karlinski, Matthew Karlinski, Susan Casson, Marcia Katzen, Lenny Kurland, Marvin Lurcher, Norman Hart Lerman, Alec Lipson, Ed Malik, Yana Malamed, Harry Morton, Mary Nayrod, Ruben Nyman, Rhonda Nuskart, Leah Rootman, Marion Rosen, Natalie Rosen, Ray Rudlier, Chase Siegel, Julie Shatsky, Stanislav Schenker, Clara Tanner, Enrique Testa Aresti, Evelyn Van Zandt, Wilfred Weinstein, Evelyn Weissman, Helen Wartzman, and Sarah Zeigelman. If there are other names to mention for Kaddish, I invite you to rise and share them at this time. So we stand now as one community with all of those who mourn. We turn to page 598 and join in these words of Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divrach irutei v'yamlich malchutei, בחיי חון וביומי חון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה בזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, יתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקדושה בריחו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמא ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיים, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו amen. זיכרונם לברכה, may their memories always be a blessing. We say together, amen. Amen. So remain standing. We're going to do Kiddush and Motzi. You have little challahs on your table for when we get to the Motzi, but if you want to follow along, the words for the Kiddush are on page 122.
ויהי ערב ויהי בוקר יום השישי ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה וישבות ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם בורא פרי הגפן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצבנו בשבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחילנו זיכרון למעשה בראשית כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש זכר ליציאת מצרים כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים ושבת קודשך באהבה ורצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. אמן.
Chaim. So we can mind that. It hasn't been used for a long time, but it stays good. So but if you want to take your challah rolls and we'll do motzi together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Te'avon. Oseh shalom bimromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru amen. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. It's wonderful to see you.